Hello, this is Marian Davenport with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching our Video Voters Guide or listening to our podcast. We are here today to talk with candidates running in the May 19, 2026 primary election. We are grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Sailing Foundation, the Weiss Foundation, the Sarah Fruing Foundation, members of the League of Women Voters of Portland, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me today is Lisa Reynolds, who is running for re-election as State Senator, District 17. Welcome, Senator Reynolds.
Thank you so much for having me.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for re-election to this office.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Marian, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for this opportunity. My name is Lisa Reynolds, and I am a pediatrician. I've been a pediatrician in this community for 30-ish years. And I decided to run, 6 years ago now, because I wanted to do more for my patients than what I was seeing in the exam room. And I've been a leader on healthcare issues, early childhood issues, and kind of everything that affects children. I care about other people too, but that has been my relentless focus in the legislature. And I really look forward to continuing this work should I be reelected.
Do you support the elimination or modification of the Oregon kicker? Why or why not?
I do, absolutely. The kicker is a vestige of anti-government, old ways of doing things. And we're one of, I believe, 2 states left in the union that still have that. We may be the last one, actually. I do believe that kicker reform or kicker elimination has to be part of a larger conversation on revenue reform. We've been hearing a lot about people that are frustrated with our current tax structure. And I think some of that is in part because of we don't have a sales tax. And I think that's just one of the things we need to think about. So yes, eliminate, reform the kicker, and let's have a bigger conversation on revenue reform.
What changes, if any, would you support in the state to address the issue of climate change? And please explain.
Oregon's already doing a lot of good work in this area. Obviously, it's very difficult in the federal, under this federal administration to feel like we're having much impact when so many policies at the federal level have been eroded. But, if we keep on our clean energy goals, if we fully fund transit systems, which we know, public transit systems, which we know will cut down on greenhouse gases, if we continue to support the use of electric vehicles wherever possible, as long as that electricity is generated in a clean way, I think that will go a long way to reach our climate goals.
Would you support or oppose the creation of a Citizens Independent Redistricting Commission to redraw Oregon's state legislative and congressional election districts? And please explain.
Yeah, I would support that, definitely. I think, the devil's always in the details, and what I would really love to look at what the plan presented, but it is something I would support.
You are listening to the Video Voters Guide and podcast interview with Lisa Reynolds, who is running for re-election as State Senator District 17. What, if any, changes in the state's policies concerning public schools would you support?
One thing is that our public schools are really failing our students, right? Shortest school year in the country, among the worst math and reading scores in the country, the second highest rate of chronic absenteeism in the country. I think we're all getting tired of being on these lists. And so we have to really think about some bold new ways of providing education. We can't do incremental things right now. One thing that I have been focused on as an early childhood expert is let's make sure I keep thinking let's hand over that 5-year-old, fully ready to learn, emotionally regulated, having received special education if they've needed it before they enter kindergarten. And I think that alone would have a huge impact on reading scores, graduation rates. And so that's something that I've been focused on. And we do really neglect, I think, that 0 to 5 age group to the peril of our K-12 schools.
What role do you believe the state legislature should play in increasing the supply of low-income housing in Oregon?
Look, we've all been hearing a lot about the red tape and the added cost in Oregon to build in Oregon, including units that cost $1 million, right? When you have a multi-family building built, the cost per unit is astronomically high. So we have to think about red tape cutting measures and maybe even some regulatory measures. Obviously, nothing around cutting corners for safety or accessibility. But I think there are things we can do to bring the cost of building these units down, and then that will make it more feasible to build more and more and more.
What approaches and priorities would you use to shape the next state budget?
I really, as a physician and a scientist, I really think a lot about what is working and what is not. I don't think we do enough look backs on that. As the chair of the Senate Committee on Early Childhood and Behavioral Health, I'm really asking our analysts and our agencies to really look at all the money we've put in our behavioral health system since 2021, which included some federal dollars in the COVID era. And what has it gotten us? And what are we seeing in terms of outcomes, in terms of number of beds, what's working, what's not? So I think we need to do a little bit more look back on what's working, stop what's not working, and continue to fund what is going well in Oregon.
Thank you, Senator Reynolds. This concludes the Video Voters Guide and podcast interview from the League of Women Voters of Portland with Lisa Reynolds, who is running for re-election as State Senator District 17. Election Day is Tuesday, May 19. To find additional election resources, including online identification of other candidates and ballot measures on which you may be able to vote, please visit the League of Women Voters of Portland's website, lwvpdx.org, and vote411.org, and then exercise your right to vote. Ballots will be mailed out starting on April 30th. For your vote to be eligible to be counted, your ballot must be received by the Multnomah County Elections Division or placed in one of the designated ballot drop boxes in Multnomah County no later than 8 p.m. on Election Day. We strongly recommend that if you are depositing your ballot with the United States Postal Service, you do so no later than Tuesday, May 12, 1 week before Election Day. Your voice and your vote matter. Thank you.